Wait a minute, Falcons, put some greatness in it. Don't stop, get it. Throw your brace up, K-A-M-S. Brace up, Cams. What's going on? Welcome to 2021. I'm so excited that last year is gone and we're on to a new year. My name is Kevin Bracy. For those that I have not met yet, students call me Coach Greatness, but not because I'm so great. They call me Coach Greatness because each and every one of you, guess what? There's something that I know about you. And some I do know and some I don't know. The thing that I know about you, and I don't even know some of you, including teachers and parents, is you have greatness in you. That there's no one in the world that's just like you. And I'm so grateful to be speaking to you today through this video. Oh yes, it could be better if we were in your gymnasium, but that's not our reality right now. So I'm going to be grateful for just the opportunity to share my heart with your heart. It's a new year. And let me start off by saying this. Every student who can hear my voice, I just need you to know that from your staff and the teachers, staff, parents, students, we hear you. Students, we see you. Students, we love you. Students, we feel for you. I wish I could say we feel you and we understand totally what you're going through. But how could we? Because I know, let me speak for myself. In my middle school years, we were in school. My middle school years, school didn't just get shut down like that, and now I was doing school at home. So I have no idea what you're truly going through in your minds and in your hearts every single day. I don't know that, but here's what I do know. We see you. We hear you. We feel for you. And we love you. We're going through our own stuff as adults, given the scenario that we are in. But students, we see you. So the question is, in 2021, how can we win the day? What can I do every single day to win the day? What can I do to reach for the best version of me during the toughest of times? Let me turn that question around. What can you do to reach for the best version of you during the toughest of times? So each day we give ourselves a chance to win the day, one day at a time. I'm going to use in this conversation the word R-E-A-C-H, reach, as my acronym. Let's not waste time. Let's jump right in. How can we win the day? How can we reach to be the best versions of ourselves during the toughest of times? The R. The R stands for every day we wake up, we must rise and grind with a greatness state of mind. Rise and grind with a greatness state of mind. I'm talking about three things. Number one, when I talk about grind, I'm talking about grit, having grit and continuing to be resilient through distance learning. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. We're talking about being the best versions of ourselves during the toughest of times so that we can win the day. But in order to do that, we got to have some grit. We got to continue to be resilient. That means when things get tough, we're not just going to lay down, give in, give up, give out, be negative, be pessimistic, be cynical. We're going to do the best that we can to just lean in and just keep grinding. Just keep grinding. Sometimes that grind is minute by minute. Sometimes that grind is hour by hour. Sometimes that grind is day by day. When I'm saying grind, I mean grit. I mean resilience. And I know you have that within you because I know what the Falcons are made up of because I've been there for multiple years. I know the community, I know the teachers, and I know the students. There's greatness in the Falcons. Grind and continue to be resilient. Second is when we wake up in the morning in order to win the day. We must focus on what we're grateful for. The moment you open up your eyes, right now, what are you grateful for? Because we all have a long list of things that we can talk about that we're mad about, we're frustrated about, that's not going our way, that's not the way we want it to be, but it's a new year. And just because it's a new year, that means the calendar has changed, but nothing changes unless our mindset changes, Cams. Our mindset has to be better. Now, for some, You've been rocking and rolling since March. If that's you and you're not in a bad negative area right now, spot in your life, it's okay. You keep rolling. You keep your momentum going. For those who are, though, just because the calendar changes doesn't mean anything changes unless our minds change. When we wake up, what are you grateful for? I was grateful when I woke up this morning that I knew I was going to shoot this video today. I knew I was going to get an opportunity to connect with Cams, even though it's through my phone right now recording this. But I knew I was going to get an opportunity to get to this space, and I was grateful all day. But what are you grateful for every day you wake up? Number 3, rise and grind with greatness on your mind. 3rd is our positive self-talk. How are you talking to yourself? In the morning when we wake up, we cannot let our minds roam in a negative direction without us taking hold of it, saying, no, I'm not going in that direction. I'm going to do the best that I can to keep it positive. So when my mind goes negative, some of you know it, our mouths go positive. Now listen, I'm outside right now, so you hear some noise going on. It's out of my control. The only thing I can control is whether I stay focused, just like you. You know, outside, no control over the elements. We're in a world that we're living in right now where we have no control, but what we can control is our level of focus through the distraction. So number 3 is positive self-talk. When your mind goes negative, your mouth goes positive. When your mind says, I can't do this anymore, your mouth says, yes, I can. I made it 6, 7, 8 months doing it. I can do another day today. I made it to this point. I made it through last year, so I can do it in 2021. When your mind goes negative, your mouth goes positive. Here's what I learned. There was a study done by MIT that says for every negative comment we hear, it takes 16 positive statements to override the one negative. 16 to 1. So negative weighs more than positive. So we got to make a choice that when we rise up in the morning, when we rise up, we're focused on our grit and our resilience. We're focused on our gratitude. And we're going to control our own minds. We're going to talk ourselves into greatness. I'm awesome. I'm brilliant. I can do this. I can overcome this. I can win this day today. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I'm worried about winning this day. So the R is rise and grind with a greatness state of mind. The E stands for each one. Reach one, baby. Reach one every single day. Here's what I know. We're at a time when our emotions are it's like a roller coaster. In a 5-minute period of time, we could be happy, sad, depressed, excited, focused, mad, depressed, sad, and happy again. Like this, right? And that's not just students, that's adults too. So it is important right now that Falcons reach out to each other. Make sure you're reaching out to other Falcons every day. Each one reach one, but I want to challenge you to reach out to someone new every single day. That could be a simple text to say, I'm thinking about you. That could be a text to say, I miss you. That could be a text to say, I appreciate our friendship. That could be a text to say today. That could be a text to say, you know what? I don't know what you're going through. Somebody needs to hear this, and I just need you to know that you're special. Every day, reach out to one person with love and a word of encouragement. But at the same time, when you are struggling, don't be afraid to reach out to those friends to say, hey, I'm struggling. I need someone to talk to. Because sometimes just talking through challenging moments is like self-therapy, and it lightens the load, the weight of the world that sometimes we can feel that's on our shoulders. Just talking it out helps. Each one, reach one. The A stands for a day at a time. We're going to do this. 2021, we're not doing it a week at a time, 3 months, 4 months. What's going to happen in September? Will school be open? We don't know. What's going to happen? We don't know. So we're just going to do it a day at a time. Let's not look too far ahead, because sometimes when we look too far ahead and it's uncertain, it causes us to get down. It causes us to go to a negative place. So we've got to control and discipline our thoughts to focus on what do I need to do today. Everybody say today. Yeah, today, in order to win the day. The A is a day at a time. Here's what I suggest you do. Make a list of things. 5 things. Your top 5 that help you thrive during a tough time you might be having within a day. What are 5 activities you can engage in that make you feel better, that make you feel happy? Is it talking to a friend on the phone? Is it playing a video game? Is it writing? Is it listening to music? Is it dancing? Hey, I dance all the time because it helps me. It puts me in a happy space. It helps me feel like I'm thriving when I'm going through a tough time. I sing, I rap, I do things just to make myself feel great. I work out. Those are things that help me. But what are your top 5 to thrive? Because winning the day comes down to this: controlling what you can control and doing away with what you can't control. Because sometimes when we're focused on what we can't control, we're in a state of frustration all day long. We got to learn how to control our thoughts the best we can. And the earlier you learn this, you're equipping yourself for future greatness in your teenage years and your young adult years and beyond. Control what you can control. A win within a day is when you've spent the majority of the day doing the things and focusing on the things that you can control and releasing the things that you can't control. The A is one day at a time. A day at a time, win the day. The C, or the C, your way. The C stands for connection, not perfection. Connection, not perfection. We're doing away with perfection. You know, when schools got shut down last year, I'm a guy, this is how I make my living. I make my living going to schools, walking into a gymnasium, setting up my music, setting up my PowerPoint, doing my mic check, and the students start coming into the gymnasium. There's an excitement in the room. There's a buzz in the room. They sit on each side of the bleachers, and I get introduced by the awesome Donna McNeil at your school, and then she introduces me, she hands me the microphone, and then I speak to kids 200 times a year. But when it got shut down, my heart got shut down. Man, it was tough. Next thing I know, I'm doing assemblies in my office from a computer screen. I can't even see the kids. I can't even see your faces. I can see my PowerPoint with 3 or 4 faces on the right side of the screen. And it was so frustrating. But I have a choice to make at that point. Am I going to lean in and connect, do the best that I can to connect given the circumstances? Or am I going to lean back and sit back and allow my frustration that things aren't the way I want them to be, and let that lead my energy in a virtual assembly? I chose. I didn't say it was easy, because we're talking about winning the day. We're talking about reaching for the best versions of ourselves during the toughest of times. I chose to lean in and connect because I knew it wasn't going to be perfect. Technology's not perfect. Trying to connect with people that you can't see is not perfect, but I chose to lean in and connect. So I'm asking every student who can hear the sound of my voice, although it's hard to connect through a screen, and I know it's challenging, but you have a choice to make. Some of you have already made that choice. You are leaning in and you are doing awesome in distance learning. But there's others that just kind of feel like, I'm just so disconnected, I'm just going to lean back. Are you going to lean in to win, or lean back and distract or be distracted by the feeling of frustration because things aren't the way we want them to be? Connection is a choice. The C is lean in. It's connection, not perfection. Nobody can make you connect to that, to your teacher, connect to that assignment, connect to your education. That's a personal choice that we all have to make. I want to lovingly challenge each and every one of you Falcons to lean in. Do the best that you can given our circumstances, the best that you can to connect, because there's greatness in you. Connect to this moment in time. Do the best that you can with all that you have within you. And the H is habits to happiness. I believe it was Abe Lincoln who said, a person is as happy as they make up their minds to be. Okay, I respect that, but I don't think that works for everybody. I believe some people can just make up their mind and be happy. But then there's other people, they have a harder time, because I believe happiness, and through research, it has to do with activities that we engage in. So, the R, rise and grind with a greatness state of mind. That means grit. That means be resilient. Continue to be resilient. That means open up your day with gratitude. What are you grateful for? Recognize that, acknowledge that. And positive self-talk. Mind goes negative, mouth goes positive. Now, will that become a habit that makes you happy? We won't know until you try it. I want to encourage you to give it a shot every day you wake up. Rise and grind with a greatness state of mind. The E is each one. Reach out to somebody every single day. And when you reach out to someone else, when you need to reach out, you reach out and ask for somebody to help you, to help hear your heart, hear your frustrations, or hear your good times. If you just passed the test that you studied for all night. But just reach out to somebody to make their day, but at the same time, reach out when you need help. Is that a habit that will lead to happiness? We won't know until you try it. The A is a day at a time. Win the day. Control what you can control. Do away with what you can't control. Make your top 5 to thrive. And those top 5 that you put together to thrive, I'm sure those top 5 are activities you can engage in to make you happy. Will they become habits to happiness? We won't know until you try it. The C, lean in and connect rather than sit back and distract. Lean in when you open up your computer to learn. Lean in and listen to your teacher so that when you sit back, you're less likely to be distracted by anything that's going on around you, even those thoughts that try to penetrate your mind. When you're leaning in, it's harder to be distracted. Will that connection, not perfection, will you choosing to connect, will that make you happy? We won't know. We won't know until you try it if you're not already doing it. Some of you are already doing it. I see you. Because the bottom line is happiness is something that we have to create through the activities that we engage in. It doesn't just hit you by osmosis. We gotta reach for happiness through our activities. As I close, there's greatness in you. I believe in you. And like I said at the beginning, we see you. We hear you. We love you. We feel for you. But you gotta reach for the best version of you during the toughest of times so that we can win the day one day at a time. Will we win every day? No, we won't win every day. We will not win every day, but we're gonna do the best we can to reach for the best versions of ourselves during the toughest of times. There's greatness in you. Yeah, you hear birds, you hear sirens. That's life. I'm not cutting that out because there's nothing in life right now that's perfect. But we have a choice whether we're going to lean in or sit back. Hold up, wait a minute, Falcons put some greatness in it. Don't stop, get it, throw your brace up, KAMS. I miss you. I love you. I'll see you soon. Throw your brace at me right now. I got love for Cams, my Cams fam. Brace, see ya soon.